You are live, it says. Whether we're live or not, we're still going to start saying hi. So, hi, and welcome to this live English lesson with Bob and Brent. Hi, Brent.
Hey, what's going on?
Today, we're going to try and answer all of your questions about the English language for the next hour. And then what are we going to do when the hour's up?
Well, hopefully you'll head over to my channel and we will answer more questions for another hour.
For another hour.
2 hours of Bob and Brent.
That is the plan. So I'm just going to verify that things are working. Got my little headphones here, earbuds. Let's see here.
And while you're doing that, maybe I should waste time here, fill the air with some sound.
Yeah, probably, because I can't hear anything. So I hope it's actually working, but I think it's probably my MacBook. Yes, see my MacBook? There we go. Sounds a little bit weak. Sorry about that. We'll try to lean into the microphone
Probably
as
my
much
fault
as possible.
somehow.
Yeah, I do want to say hi to a few people. Using StreamYards, I can do this now. So Mode Egg says to Freddie Wolf, let's have a good time. Awesome to see that. If I scroll down, a lot of people just saying hi. Hello from London. Very cool. Ontario.
London, Canada?
Yeah,
Really?
London. Well, I think the ON is Ontario, so
Okay.
very cool. And then we have from, oh, my camera just stopped working. Don't worry, we have a plan for this. So hopefully it just starts working again. If not, what will we do? We'll just switch to my laptop camera. So hopefully everything's good. You know, it was working fine when we tested it, and then now for some reason it decided not to work. So
Always does that.
maybe we'll switch back and forth as we go through this. But anyways. Hi everybody. So the way it's going to work is if you have a question, sorry, I'm not letting you talk much.
No, it's fine.
If you have a question, ask it in the chat. This is new. Normally I don't do that, but I have a different laptop than I normally use at home. So if you have a question, ask it in the chat, and then I will do this. I will put it on the screen. Unsel says, hi, I'm very busy at work today. I'm so sorry I won't be able to join the live broadcast. I hope to be able to join Teacher Brent's broadcast. Have fun. Well, thanks, Unsel. And thanks for the gifts, Unsel. Those were very, very nice of you. I'm very, very happy to have received them. Brent gave them to me the other night. So thanks for bringing those back.
You're using the bag right now for
I am using
storage.
the bag right now to carry all my cables in. So that was handy as well.
So Unsel, maybe we should talk. Like, you should have your priorities in order. I think this live stream is more important than work.
It's more important than
yeah,
work.
I mean, if you got fired, I think you'd have a good reason to get fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can concur.
No.
Work's pretty important, but
this might be the most important live stream of the year.
it might be.
Yeah.
Hey, from More Than a Korean, Happy Canada Day. Now, there's a little problem with that. I appreciate the Happy Canada Day. Yeah, we have the flags, but Canada Day is July 1st, and what day is it?
This is July 4th. This is the Day of Independence for the United States.
Yeah, so it's actually not Canada Day. I'm in America, and it's July 4th, so it's the 4th of July. Tell us a bit about it, Brent. What do you guys do on the 4th of July?
All right, well, back in 1776, there were these pesky Brits around us, and we said, no longer, you need to go. And I think we fought a war, we won, we took the Queen off our money.
We left the Queen on our money.
We said we are independent.
Yeah. But we still like to visit each other. So
Yeah.
next one from Mode. You want to read it?
I can barely read it, but
Okay.
yeah, I will. All right. Mr. Bob, what was the first thing you noticed after crossing the border that made you think, well, definitely in the U.S., nicer roads, less geese, louder people? What was it?
Okay, so the first thing I noticed was there's a restaurant called Chick-fil-A that we only have 2 in Canada, but I think they're all over the United States. And I've never gone to one. I still haven't. I hope to go on the way home. But I noticed that there were Chick-fil-A's. The other thing I noticed was, of course, all the license plates. Suddenly they were all New York license plates because they came through New York State. And then nicer roads. When I got to Maine, so I went through about 4 states. The last one was the state of Maine. The roads are really nice. The speed limit was higher. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, the first thing I noticed was probably all of the cars had a different license plate on it. So great question.
It was strange. Last year when I went to visit you in Canada, I was a couple miles over the border, and I saw Canadian geese.
Oh, yeah?
There was a flock.
Like
of
immediately?
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
They must know the border.
Yeah, they must. They try to stay on our side. I wish more of them would go to your side sometimes.
Yeah, we don't have many.
From Know That question. Hello, Bob. When you decided to go to Brent by car, did you already know that you would rent a car for the trip, or did that come to your mind later? Thanks, Bob. So actually, the idea came from when Brent visited me. He had a rental car, and we only have two vehicles. Two of my kids need one vehicle to go to work. Jen needs the other vehicle to go to market. Jen, if you're watching this, I hope you have a good day at market today. So there really wasn't an alternative. I could have borrowed a car, but borrowing a car to drive 11 hours to Maine, most people would be like, that's a big ask. You want to tell them, what is a big ask?
Yeah, a big ask is when you need like a huge favor,
Yeah.
and somebody might not be, you might lose a friend if
Yeah.
they say no. It's a lot rides on it.
Yeah. Like if my car was in the garage and I borrowed my sister's car for an afternoon, no problem.
Yeah.
But saying, hey, can I have your car for 4 days? I'm going to put 2,200 kilometers on it. That's a big ask. So definitely. Let's see here. Brent can answer this one. No, you can't. From Pooja. Hello, Bob. How can I get a teacher job in Alberta, Canada? Please tell me what is the procedure. So I made a couple little fixes there. I'll answer that one fairly quick. Here, you want the mouse, and then you can scroll.
No.
No?
Too much responsibility.
Too much responsibility.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I will answer it quick. Go to the Government of Alberta website, and they will have all the information there. Everything you need to know about coming to Canada, working in Canada, or working in a specific province, you'll be able to find. Just do a quick search. From Mode Eggs, happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate a little later. We got a pool somewhere near here. Got some chairs set up, some food. It's going to be good.
It should be fun. Yeah, that's the plan later this afternoon. We're going to make one more video for my short English lesson channel. We each made a video yesterday that you'll see next week, Tuesday or Wednesday when we get to it. But yeah, today it's morning, a couple live streams, and then we're going to just kind of chill and hang out with Brent's family and friends and celebrate.
I was thinking maybe we should make a couple members videos too.
Yeah, that'd be
Because
fun.
we'll have some time to do that.
For sure.
So if you're not a member of Mr. Bob's channel, there's a link somewhere there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's in the description. You can join. It's up to you.
All right, let's get the glasses on here. Can you explain to me what's the difference between coast and shore?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this is from Tu Nguyen. Hopefully I said the name correctly. Coast and shore. Yeah, that's a good one.
So for me, I think they can be used interchangeably most times.
Yeah.
When you say, hey, I'm going to the coast, it's a kind of a big general area. Like, you know there will be the ocean nearby. And when you say the shore, that's the actual place where the sand meets the water.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because Brent lives by the ocean. I live by the Great Lakes. So for me, we use lake shore. So if I say shore, I think ocean, like Atlantic Ocean or Pacific. But if I think, I'm going to go to the lake shore, I would use the word lake shore. But when I'm at the lake, I would call it the shore. Like you walk along the shore.
Mm-hmm.
When I think coast, though, it's always ocean.
Yeah.
Is it always ocean?
I think so.
Yeah, like, did you see the coast? Did you go to the coast? Then
So if you were going to hang out at a lake today, you wouldn't say I'm going to the coast.
No, I would use lake shore and seashore more than I wouldn't use coast. No. So coast we think is ocean. That's our final answer.
Yeah. But if you used one instead of the other, I don't think people would look at you strangely. They're very close.
I don't think so. Okay, I might accidentally skip some questions. Sorry if that happens. I'm new to having this.
And there are a lot of people watching, so it's...
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many, but...
222.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Hanan, hello. I'm so glad because I joined this conversation. I have a problem with my accent when I'm speaking English. What can I do to improve my English accent? So should we both think of one thing?
Yeah, my first thought is always keep your accent.
Yeah.
You want to be understood, so if you have to slow down when you're speaking, do that. Native English speakers, some of us are pretty slow talkers.
Yeah.
I think my wife is a fast talker, but I think
Yeah.
by nature we're slow. We want to be understood. If you keep your accent, you'll be unique, but you do want to be understood.
Yeah, there's kind of a fine line, right? Like, as you learn English, you will probably never get rid of your accent if you're an adult. As a child learning a language, you probably can, but as an adult, but you do want to find that middle ground where you speak fluently and are easily understood. And I think to get there, it just takes a lot of practice. I know it's a simple answer. It's usually my answer for a lot of things is it just takes a bit of practice, but yeah. And then having a speaking partner who will coach you, depending on what language you currently speak, you'll have trouble with different parts of English. So find someone who can coach you on saying the R or the Y or the TH, whatever's giving you the most problems.
And over the last couple months, I've met some people who are non-native English speakers who watch our channel, and I always think you're better than you think you are.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are pretty hard on themselves when they try to speak English.
Yes.
The good news is that native English speakers are used to accents.
Yes.
There are so many people around the world that speak English. Native English speakers can usually pick up on your accent.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, from Do Thin Cow. Bob and Brent, hi. I enjoy watching Bob's video, which made with special effects, and Brent's, which has AI images. So what's your guys' opinion on making videos with special effects? Do you like it? So kind of two things here, special effects and AI. So I attempt to make the video as concise as possible while still teaching what I want to teach. And so I generally use, motion graphics or words that come on the screen or little icons or things that move just to kind of emphasize what I'm saying. I'm not trying to overwhelm you with a crazy video where, the scene changes every 2 seconds. And I know Brent does the same. We try to just deliver as clear as possible what we're trying to express. About AI images, I will say it has made my job a little easier when I'm looking for pictures for my Friday lessons, because I like to use real photos if I can, but every fourth or fifth word or phrase I'm teaching, there's no photo that captures what I want it to capture. So the website where I get photos from also has AI images. So probably about 20% of my Friday lesson is AI images now. It's hard to tell, but yeah.
Yeah, I've done a poll on my channel because I have used a lot of AI images, and I think it was like 75% preferred the real image.
Right.
So, like Bob said, there are some times when you need a specific image. It's great to be able to create that to help teach English. So, images, I've kind of stayed away from it lately.
Yeah.
But
sometimes though, the AI image can look kind of strange. So you have to watch, like, does the person have the right number of fingers, or if there's any words, sometimes it's just wrong. So just have to be a little bit careful. So Freddie Wolf, whose turn is it to read? Your turn?
I'll go for it.
I didn't ask if you wanted to take turns. We're gonna take
Yeah, we'll
turns.
take turns. Let's do it. I'll just have to put my glasses on every
Yeah.
so. Bob, if you had the choice between a scenic road, we might change that adjective there.
Yeah.
If you had a choice between a scenic road and the highway, which one would you have taken with your fancy luxury car? High
car.
roller Bob.
Yeah.
Comes rolling in a Mercedes.
I know, that was an upgrade. I did not rent that. I rented the cheapest car possible. They gave me a nicer one. It depends on time. When I was driving here, I wanted to get here as fast as possible. I drove slightly over the speed limit. I had cruise control on in the car the whole time. I listened to a lot of music. I did enjoy the scenery that you could see from the highway or turnpike or throughway. A few different words there for big highways. If I have lots of time though, like if Jen and I are driving to her parents on a Sunday afternoon and there's no rush, then I like a scenic route a little better. But generally, if I'm going somewhere, I want to get there. So Brent, what about you?
Yeah, I agree, and I feel bad for the drive that you had to do yesterday. Because was it 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yeah.
It is a very boring drive. It's easy, it's nice and flat, but it's a lot of the same thing.
Yeah, and there's very little traffic, like no traffic jams. Well, a small one at one point, but half yes. Speaking of Chick-fil-A, I wonder if there's Five Guys there. Oh, we have Five Guys in Canada. I think I've been once or twice, but do they have Five Guys here?
We do. We have one in the next town over.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. It's a good burger. It's a little expensive though.
Everything's a little expensive. I noticed
Did you
that.
want to talk about your food that you ate along the way here?
Yeah, let's save that.
Okay.
Except to say we had a classic Maine treat.
Oh yeah.
And it was Brent paid for it. And when I heard the total, I was in shock. That's all I'll say. You'll have to wait till our videos come out next week to see what that is.
But your $11 turkey wrap. Right
Yeah,
on the
so
side of the road.
I bought like a little turkey sandwich type thing, and it was 11 American dollars. That was a little much. Knowing that I could have made it at home for like 50 cents probably. So
Crazy.
from Pedro.
Pedro. Hey Brent. Hey Bob. I love seeing my favorite teachers together again. You guys are awesome. Oh, there wasn't a question. It was just a compliment.
It's just a nice compliment, yes.
That made me feel good.
Okay.
I like it. Thank you, Pedro.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. When I do a conversation with the teachers or Chat GPT, they tell me your level is B1 in speaking, but in listening, I don't feel that I am B1. And I want to say thank you for your efforts, Mohammed from Egypt. That's a good point. You're highlighting a good point. Sometimes people will ask me, hey, I can understand everything you say in your video. What level am I? And it's important to realize there's a reading level, a writing level, a listening level, and a speaking level. I would say that if your speaking level is B1, but you don't feel like your listening is B1, that's actually a good imbalance. It's better than the other way, I think, because speaking is kind of one of the hard ones. So what do you think, Brent?
Yeah, I agree. I would be shocked if your listening level was lower than your speaking level, because I think even as native English speakers, our listening level is always higher than our speaking level. Like I could listen to someone talk about complicated math and understand it, but I could not talk about it myself. So that would be interesting to see if your listening level is higher.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead with the questions.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the time and try to get caught up. So I am skipping some along the way. Sorry about that. Musa.
Hey, Bob and Brent. You're both really bussin' today.
Busted.
So it must be a young person. I'm not sure what bussin'. I hope it's a good thing.
I hope it's a good thing too.
Sorry I'm a bit late because I've been a bit busy today. So here's my question. Why is sand called sand? Is it because sand is a cross between sea and land? Well, I've never thought of that.
It could be. I don't know.
But you can find sand pretty much anywhere away from the ocean. So I don't know.
There's sand on the sides of the streets in Lewiston, Maine. I noticed that. So yeah, I don't know. I think sand is. We'd have to look up the origin of the word, and I don't know.
So I think when you think of that, you're thinking that English has some logic to it.
Yeah,
and that's your first mistake.
There's no logic. No. From Mubarak. Hello, I have a question. How do I learn English when I am 13 years old? So I think you're doing the right thing right now by watching this live stream. I think having access to the internet is amazing. Like compared to when Brent and I were young, I often say things like, if I wanted a book, like I was learning French, if I wanted a book, I had to order the book and then wait a few weeks for it to come. And now we're in an era where you can buy an ebook online to help study English. You can watch YouTube videos. I mean, it's a whole different world. So do everything you can using the internet, even like hiring someone.
Sure. All right, Mubarak. Your parents might not like what I'm about to say, but at 13 years old, if you find a game where you have to strategize with other people in English, I think that's a great way to learn English. Watch some movies, watch some television shows in English. I think that'll be a good start. Try to make some friends who also are passionate about learning English.
Yeah.
And of course, keep watching us.
Yeah, you can keep watching us too. We're pretty helpful, I think. This is you, right?
Okay. Hello. I have a question. Please, how long do we have to learn English to get fluent? That is a good question, one that's super hard to answer.
It's very hard to answer.
We would have to define what is fluent.
Yeah.
And I usually say for my students, because I have students who come from other countries here, they're totally immersed. They can become really good English speakers in a year.
Yeah.
By 2 years, they are really good. But this also depends on what your first language is. If your first language is French, English and French, pretty similar. If your first language is Japanese or Arabic, it's going to take longer.
Yeah, and I would say this, like Brent and I both teach in like actual classrooms. So we're classroom teachers. When I give students an assignment, no matter what I'm teaching, let's say I have 30 students. I hand out an assignment. There's a student who will be done in 10 minutes, and there's a student who will be done in 45 minutes. And that's just kind of how things work in the world. Some people can learn things faster and do things faster than others. So you'd have to kind of get a sense of where you are on that scale. Like how quickly are you able to learn? It's kind of unfair, but people learn at different rates. So, hello, Bob and Brent. I have a question. What is the benefit of watching your channels? There's no benefit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I would say that. We're eye candy for sure. Like just clicking on, you see some rather handsome men.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So that'll be like the first benefit.
Yeah. Sorry, now I've lost my train of thought.
Hey, no. We're more than eye candy though.
I think there's a lot of depth to what we do. So, we actually kind of talked about this yesterday, and I think what Brent and I try and do is we're trying to show you and give you access to people just speaking normal English as much as possible. So when we do a live stream like this is just how we talk. When Brent shoots a video out and about, he's showing you, had to get out and about in there.
You go.
Out and about. He's, maybe what he teaches, he could teach in 5 minutes in a classroom with a whiteboard and be really strict, or he can spend 10 minutes or 12 minutes in a video to show you more of what an English speaker's life looks like. So I think we both try to show, okay, here's a lesson, but here's also some part of an English-speaking world that you might want to see and hear. So that's how I would say, that's what the benefit is, I think.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe other English channels teaching English. So let's see here. Now I'm really going past.
What time is it? We're not too far behind.
No. So a couple repeat questions. You could do this one.
Okay. Hello, Bob and Brent. How can I learn English and still have fun? Well, I would say whatever you have fun doing, try to do that when you're learning English. If you like grammar exercises, I don't know who does, but if you do, work on that grammar. If you enjoy listening to music, try to listen to songs in English. If you enjoy a TV show you've already watched in your first language, try to get the dubbed version in English.
Yeah.
So just do whatever you do in life. If you have fun, try to do that with learning English.
Yeah, I would 100% agree, because there's things you like doing. So when you're learning English, try to do those things as you're doing it. Like if you like reading electronics magazines, like when as a kid I liked reading electronics magazines, start reading those in English if that's the language you're trying to learn. I would agree. And for me it's music. Because I'm a French learner still after all these years, whenever I'm not practicing enough, I go back to music. For me, music is kind of a good way. Here, this next one's for you.
Is it? All right.
Yeah, Mr. Azaz.
It's weird. I can't see far away, but I can't see close up, so I'm continually putting these on and off. Brent, I thought you were in Iceland. Maybe I am. No, I was in Iceland a couple weeks ago, so those videos will still be coming out. A couple Poland videos, quite a few Turkey videos, but now I am in the great state of Maine.
Yeah, another one for you. It just says, I started learning English with Brent, and now I can speak English fluently like a native speaker. That's from Chris.
Heck
so
yeah.
Very cool. Nice.
Heck yeah. Congratulations.
Good job, man. So from Andrew, to me it's a confusing topic. My vocab includes similar notions such as coast, coastline, shore, bank, shoreline, beach, seaside, waterfront, waterside, lakefront. There are a lot of them. Yeah, and so in that grouping, sometimes it's best just to find what's the most generic term. So you don't have to know all of them right away. I think if you were to read these words without knowing them, as long as you know coast and shore and maybe beach and water, you can probably kind of figure out what each word means, right? Like if you saw lakefront, you know it has something to do with a lake or that. So a lot of times in English we'll have way too many words for one thing. Just try to find what's the most common or generic of those two, or of those, sorry.
And I have a video where I visited different bodies of water. I think you do too as well.
Yeah.
We both have videos on our channels where we talk about some of those topics.
Here's a challenge. I would fail.
I love challenges.
I don't even know if this is a real word. Thanks, Jim.
Oh, hi Bob. Brent, could you pronounce? No, I can't. It's kind of a funny word. I wonder if it's possible to pronounce it correctly as a native English speaker. I've seen this word a few times before, and it's definitely a medical term. The first part of that has something to do with lungs.
Like pneumono. Like if we slow down, it's pneumono ultra microscopic ilico. I don't know what that is. And then volcanoconiosis.
It's definitely a condition
Yeah.
because SIS is something to do with inflammation, I think. Micro is small. So, don't waste your time learning that word.
That's
Nobody
a crazy
says it.
word.
Yeah.
They didn't ask me that when I was crossing the border if I knew that word. So I'm gonna have a sip of water.
Okay, get my glasses here. Jonathan wonders, how can I practice English in a non-English speaking country? Yeah, I think we've addressed that a few times. You can play video games. You can try to make a friend on a language exchange site. If you're speaking a language that a lot of English speakers want to learn, something like French, Spanish, Japanese, you won't have too much trouble finding a good speaking partner. You'll have to give up some of your time because you'll probably speak the language that you're comfortable with English with another person, but
Yeah, and I would just say the same thing. Do whatever you can in your daily life using the internet to mimic being in an English-speaking country. And then there's little things too, like you can switch your phone to English, you can switch your computer to English, you can, I was just trying to think of something else, like hire someone via something like Preply or iCambly or any of those online platforms. You do have to spend some money to do that. But yeah, I think if you think about how can I create a little bubble of English in my day, in a non-English speaking part of the world, I think that would help. Here's this one. It's from Cao Du Hung. Hi, gentlemen. Like Albert Einstein is remembered by people around the world for his intelligence and contributions, what do you guys want to be remembered for? Thanks. First of all, that's a very well written sentence.
very well written.
Nice
Commas
work.
and everything in the right spot.
That is high level. So good job there.
But I would just want to be remembered as like a good father, a good husband, good person, good friend.
Yeah,
probably very little to do with English
I don't need
teaching.
I don't need a statue anywhere or anything like that.
Yeah.
So no, I think I would agree. I would want, even though Brent and I are doing stuff on the internet and lots of people are watching, for me it's more just live a good life, be a good dad, work hard at work and be remembered for, hey, he was a good teacher, that kind of thing. So, and not a lot. I mean, life is fleeting, and then when you're gone, you're gone. So, I'm not too worried about being remembered. So let's see here.
I see that question. Are you brothers?
Are you brothers?
We're definitely not, but maybe. I mean, maybe. If we go back far enough.
Possibly. I mean, we're both basically somewhat either UK or North European descent, so there's probably some. I'm sure the Vikings sailed around, conquered everywhere in Northern Europe, including where he's from originally, probably, and so maybe way back in time, there's some commonality. But yes, we kind of have a round face, short hair,
great hair though,
and both wearing t-shirts. So
phenomenal hairline.
Bode says eye candy, yeah, for sure. Brent is getting a little cocky with this new hairline. There you go.
That's right. And once I put this hat on, I mean, come on, who could resist this, right? You're clicking on that thumbnail.
Yeah. So Brent,
no more.
Brent and I went out yesterday, and he had to wear his hat, which he wanted to know if it looked silly, and I just said it made it really easy for me to find him back. If he walked away, I would just look for the guy with the hat. Okay, where are we at? Freddie Wolf?
Freddie Wolf, what's going on? Hope everyone is doing well in France. Brent, during your trip in Europe, Which location did you prefer in the countries you have visited? Next trip, you should try to visit France, some countries around, with Bob and your wives. That's an interesting point. I'm definitely going to make a video on that, probably with Jamie, where we are going to talk about our trip to Brazil, Poland, Turkey. They were all great in different ways.
Yeah, you liked all of them?
I really enjoyed. Yeah, I would go back to all 4 places that I've been to.
Sorry, I'm losing track of what I'm doing. You have to keep talking.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember to make sure people have the link to go to your channel in half an hour. So
France might be in the cards for maybe 2026. We want to do a trip to Italy, maybe France, but
as to traveling together, that would simply require that our schedules line up. That's I don't know if you guys know that term in English. So obviously Brent and I teach. We both have the summer off. Unfortunately, Jen is really busy in the summer doing flowers, growing flowers, so it's not a great time to travel. So we would have to see if our spring breaks line up, which they don't, because Brent gets 2 and I get 1 or some crazy thing like that. But if the planets align someday, that's another good phrase, right? So if the planets align and somewhere between November and late March, we both had breaks at the same time. I'm using my hands a lot. I don't know why. That would be a possibility, but yeah, it would require that our schedules line up a little bit. So
I'm not sure if does Jen watch your live streams every so often?
She does, but like today, probably not.
Right.
She's like frantically loading the van, getting ready to head out and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if she ever watches, I would like to say a huge shout out to her for allowing you to, I know she's still busy, but allowing you to come to Maine and have a pretty good time. A lot of work though. We didn't have that much fun.
Well, yesterday was pretty fun.
A lot of work.
I didn't. A lot of work. But it was a lot of work, Jen.
Yeah,
We've been working nonstop all afternoon yesterday. From Haley, hi Bob and Brent. How is the weather in Canada? It is so humid in Korea.
We're in the United States.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like back home now?
It's the same as here. Brent and I live like far apart, but we have, I think, identical weather. Like it looks like I'm sitting at home in Canada right now. The trees are the same. There's a maple tree over there. The weather's probably identical. It was a little hotter when I got here, but
when you do your live streams on Saturdays, and you're outside, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be having that weather in about 4, 5, 6 hours. Yeah, if it's raining where Bob is, later it will rain where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. I have a final question. What programs do you recommend that I follow? I follow the Duolingo program. So I have thoughts on Duolingo. Do you also?
Yeah, let's see.
Would you like me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
We'll see if they're the same.
So I've used Duolingo for a couple languages to learn, and I think that Duolingo does a great job when you're a beginner. It gives you an idea of how like pronouns work, how the plurals of the language work. So I think if you're watching us and you're understanding what we're saying, you're past Duolingo. You should not be using that. But for a beginner or to review some things, there is a bit of a game to it. Yeah. So if you enjoy doing it, it will help you. But if you're at a level like B1, listening to a live stream with 2 people talking is probably better.
Yeah.
Watching movies probably better.
Yeah. I find Duolingo, so I did the entire French tree in Duolingo a few years ago. It's bigger now. I should redo it. So I echo what Brent said. For me, it was great review. I was already a French speaker. I had allowed my language skills to lapse a little bit. So I like the gamification, they call it, where like I was getting little rewards and bings and lingots or whatever they were called back then. I like that about it. And I just think it's one good tool in kind of a huge toolbox of tools for you to use to learn a language. So if you like it, use it a lot. It's not something you have to use for years. You can just use it for a few months and then maybe move on to one of the other ones. But yeah, it's definitely well built and fun and all that kind of stuff. So I would say go ahead, use it. This is you, right?
Hi, I'm from India. Does learning grammar first benefit us to learn English? How much time should we spend on listening, speaking, reading, and writing to learn English? I think great question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would you like to go first? Or?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
So I used to say equal amounts of everything, and I still believe in that. If you have, let's say, 4 hours a week to study, I would recommend doing an hour of each of all four of those: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If you have more time, let's say you're studying 5 days a week, I would probably add learning a bit of vocabulary and grammar to it. And then if you have more time, you really want to dive in, I would overload on listening. So let's say you have 20 hours a week to study English. I would spend probably 2 or 3 hours on each of those four, and then I would overload on listening to music, watching TV. I think listening, I'm more and more convinced listening is easier to do. It might not be easy to understand, but it's really easy to hit play and then do the dishes, or hit play and then drive your car. So that's where I would land on that.
Yeah, I totally agree. With writing, it depends on why you're learning English. If you're learning English to have a job in a hotel, writing might not be a big thing. Speaking might be the most important and probably the hardest to do. So lots of listening, lots of reading. If your job is going to require you to write, well, spend some time on that. If you're studying for the IELTS or the TOEFL, you will be quizzed on probably those four
You're going to do all four sections, so it's good to be prepped and ready for that.
And grammar, I don't think grammar is all that important. I think native English speakers really don't know grammar that well, and yet we're great speakers. So if you get bored by grammar, don't spend too much time on it.
Yeah, you'll pick it up through your listening and your speaking practice. I think you'll get there. Why can't I keep track of whose turn it is to read?
I don't know. If I have my glasses on, I don't mind reading. Would you like me to go?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I think you read the last one, but I can't remember.
All right. Mohammed was wondering, hello, Brent and Bob. I noticed that repetition in learning a language is really beneficial. What is your advice to do such a thing without boredom?
Yeah, some things in life are really valuable and really boring, and somehow you just have to decide you're going to do it. I opt so this isn't just language learning. I often tell my high school students the secret to doing well in school is you need to read everything 3 times. So if you read a story in English class or you read a story in French class, you should go home and read it again, and then the next day you should read it again, and then a couple months later before the exam you should read it again. It's not fun. There's no way to make it fun, but it is very worthwhile. Watching a TV show and then watching it again 2 days later, or watching one of our videos with subtitles on and then watching it again a day later with them off. Repetition, it's always going to be a bit boring, but it's really valuable. It really is.
Yeah, and I love, I don't know if you know Steve Kaufman.
No. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so he's a linguist, and he says that the brain needs repetition, but it also needs novelty. And novelty is when something is new. So I would encourage you to listen to your brain. If your brain says, oh, this is boring, maybe go to something new for a little bit. The next day, go back to that boring stuff, because your brain needs both. It needs repetition and novelty.
Yeah, and you can add variation to repetition. So that would be something like you read the transcript for a video, and then the next day you watch the video, or you read the lyrics to a song, and then later you listen to the song. So you've avoided a bit of boredom by kind of changing it a little bit. So
good stuff.
From Mode. Learn English with Bob the Canadian. I blame it on the English teaching industry trying to encourage learners to know so many synonyms. The learner ends up getting lost and not knowing what word to use. We just shouldn't have synonyms.
English has a lot of synonyms.
Yeah.
It depends. If you want to have just basic conversations, you won't need synonyms. I think English is a great language. I think we have more words than any other language. So
sorry about that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so it's just you can be more expressive in English if you have a good grasp of it, but we do have a synonym for just about everything.
Yeah, and I think that it just makes it tricky. I think so. One of the things I've noticed is sometimes I'll see English lessons that tell you what not to use.
Right.
They'll tell you a phrase not to use. And my response to those is always, I usually just listen for a week to what people actually say. So a simple one would be, if a video said, here's 10 synonyms for saying thank you. And I listened for a week to all my English speaking colleagues and friends and students, and I realized most people just say thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
Or 10 alternatives to saying hello, and you listen and it's like, well, most people just say hi or hello. So usually if you know the main one, it's 90% of the time that's what's going to get used anyways. So let's see here.
26. We're 10 minutes behind.
Yeah, and again, I apologize. I'm just skipping along. I know some of you are asking twice, but it's going to be difficult to answer all the questions. So I apologize again.
We will have fewer people when we go to my channel, so we may be more likely to answer your question there.
So someone's asking for a speaking partner. Very cool. I'm really moving along here, so let's go with this one.
All right. Is it Muhammad? What are your own motivations to inspire yourselves? Yeah, so I'm sure we've talked about it. There are some days where you're like, I don't feel like making an English lesson.
Yeah.
What do you do to motivate yourself to? Because you're very strict. You have Tuesday lesson,
Yeah.
Friday live stream.
Yeah. I think part of it's just personality, but part of it, I'm going to answer for Brent as well. Part of it is Brent and I are trained to deliver knowledge on a schedule. We're professional teachers with teaching degrees. So that we sometimes refer to something as a hamster wheel. So if you have a pet hamster, it runs on a wheel, and we describe life that way sometimes. Brent and I are in our professional careers on a hamster wheel. Brent has to think about, what am I going to teach tomorrow? Well, it's summer break, so we don't have to do that right now. And then we have to think of the lesson, design the lesson, find support materials for the lesson, and deliver it. And then the next day, again and again and again. So for me, like over 25 years now, for you, almost 25 years, 25 years.
Something like that, yeah, 22, I think.
We have been on a hamster wheel that already has trained us to think, plan, deliver lessons. And so to move to YouTube, it's slightly different. You need a camera, you need a location, and those kinds of things. But it really is just our job on video. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I think you've probably experienced this in your 25 years, but I've had like a colleague die in the morning of school. You still have to teach. So I think teachers are great actors as well.
Yeah.
So we just kind of push through things.
Yeah. Push through is a good word.
Yeah.
So I think if you relate that to how do you stay motivated to learn English, that's a little trickier. Students are always less motivated than teachers.
100%.
Yeah, teachers, because we get paid, because it's our job, we have that behind us as well.
And one thing I love about teaching on YouTube that motivates me is like, somebody might watch this and they might benefit. It might lead to a new job for them, or an opportunity to travel. So
that's very motivating as well.
Motivator.
I know we don't always have time to answer all comments, but comments where people tell us how we help them just really make you feel like going out and making another video right away. Did you get the B?
It was a B, yeah. He looked like he was struggling, luckily.
Kevin Cheng.
Bob and Brent. Greetings from China. I see my progress sometimes, but still frustrating to talk to other people. Can you give me some suggestions? Yeah, I think the only way to get better at talking is to talk.
Yeah,
and that can be tough.
Yeah. Like there's the little things you can do, like you can chat with ChatGPT, you can talk out loud as you're walking around, you can read things out loud. There's a lot of things that remove the stress of a real conversation, but a real conversation has enormous value. I think it's kind of like a cornerstone to learning a language. You have to have a time each week where you have to speak that language. If it's English, you have to speak it for half an hour or an hour. It's got to be built in. You got to have that. And the sooner the better, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking's tough because you can do so many of these things like Bob said earlier. You can listen while you're doing the dishes. Writing, I think writing is a good way to practice speaking because you do need to come up with the words, but you have a longer time frame. So if you want to practice writing a letter to yourself, that might help with your speaking, recalling those words that you'll need. A lot of pressure on speaking, though.
Yes. So I had a question. Oh, people are asking about where's the question form. There's no question form today. Sorry. This is the chaotic, crazy live stream where you might have your question answered and you might not. So we're trying to do our best to pick. I'm kind of scrolling along time-wise, trying not to get too far behind, but also trying to pick a question here or there. So we do have 328 people watching, so it's just going to be a little bit tricky.
And also looks like nobody is spamming the chat, which thank you for not doing that.
Let's see. Just a quick one from Desmond. Hello, Bob and Brent. Nice to see you from Hong Kong. Nice to see you as well. Redfish says, I use Duolingo to learn Chinese. Very cool. They didn't have that at first when I first started using Duolingo, so it has been added in the last few years. Okay, this is the question I had at the border, basically.
Okay, hello Brent. Hello Bob. Are you familiar with each other before? So I think what you mean, have we met before? Do we know each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I came and visited you at your house last summer.
Yep. So Brent and I know each other from doing YouTube together, from comments and chat for like 4 years.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years. Yeah.
And then we also text each other. So if I want to text Brent, I just go here. I don't have any data right now, so I can't text you.
Wi-Fi?
Oh, I should have done that on my phone. I didn't. So we keep in touch. We do try to do some things together, but it works best in the summer. Another one of those when our schedules align. This was the question I had at the border. Who are you going to visit? Brent. And then the question was, I forget exactly what it was.
So how do you know each other?
Oh, how do you know each other? And I just said we're both teachers. I didn't want to go into too many details. I get nervous crossing the border. I don't know why. Maybe because I haven't crossed.
And I also started my channel partly because of Bob. I had a friend, Ronnie. He said, hey, you should watch this guy who teaches English. And when I saw him, I was like, wow, his teaching style is very similar to mine. So that's why I started a channel.
Yeah. So I do want to apologize to my members at this point. There's no members only chat during this live stream. Or is there? Let me just see for a sec. Can I turn that on? Right? I think I can turn that on. Let's do that. We're going to do members only chat. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of the form, which is huge, and we'll maybe go back a bit later. And then I'm going to just do members only chat for about 10 minutes, and then we'll pop back and I'll try to answer a few others. Freddie Wolf, I don't know if that's members only or not. If one day I'm able to write a novel in the English language, I'll send it to both of you. Oh, yes, okay. That would be very cool. That would be
look forward to that.
A very, very cool thing to do if you could write a novel in the English language. Anyways, for those of you that are new here, I do a members only chat for about 10 minutes during every live stream, so that's the mode we're in right now. And as those questions pop up, I will answer them. Sometimes it's just members talking to each other, like Know That talking to Mode Ag, saying, okay, then I misunderstood it. Sorry, Mode. Very cool. And then we have Yawen says, great to see you together. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to just grab questions from the past as we wait for other questions. So here's one for you, Brent.
Alrighty.
For synonyms.
Judith, I remember that name. You've been with us for a while. Synonyms are great. If you learn English first, you get a sense of the meaning, what is said to you. Later, you can get the same by learning synonyms.
Yeah, I guess synonyms work as the definition as well, right? Like if something has two meanings, you're not just learning the word, you're learning another word, but the definition for the first word. So that's that's a cool way to look at it, I think. Let's see. From Bruno, learn English, need patience. Oh, to learn English, you need patience, like to learn all kinds of things. Listen, listen, and listen. A baby just listens for 1 or 2 years to start talking. And I think there's some truth to that. Listening is a powerful thing. I think I equate it to this. On Tuesday, I drove 12 hours when I closed my eyes and tried to go to sleep, I could see the highway in my mind. So I know that's not listening, but the way our brains work is if you do something or see something or hear something a lot, it goes in there somewhere. So I think listening is a very, very powerful thing to do. Good point, Bruno.
And it's also humbling when you try to speak English and it's not your first language. You're not going to be able to express yourself as well as you could if you were speaking your first language. So a tremendous amount of respect for someone who's learning English and then has the courage to speak it.
I can't type. Yes, I agree. I don't actually know what you said. I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
That was amazing.
Where are we at in 10 minutes?
I see Mode right here. He says, "Hey Brent, you've been to quite a few places in a short period of time. Has jet lag been affecting you?" Yeah, so I've been home, I think almost a week. So the first couple days, the jet lag, it was a real thing, but now not so much. And luckily, the strength, we were just talking about this yesterday. Bob and I live, like he said, 12 hours apart maybe by car, and yet we're still in the same time zone.
Same time zone, but the sun came up 45 minutes earlier yesterday here. I was like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and it was bright outside. I was not ready for that. It was pretty cool. Let's see. No, that says, and yes, I agree with you. One automatically comes with the other. So there's some mystery conversation that we don't know that these two are having. So very cool. Ralph, no questions, no additions, just listening, talking in the chat, and like to see you both on a single camera. Yeah, good to have you here. The chat is... chat during a live stream is cool because number one, if I'm boring or we're boring, the chat can be quite exciting. There are two things happening at once. During our day jobs, we tell students stop talking and listen, but on a live stream, you could chat as much as you want. So from Sita, you actually went and saw Sita.
Actually, we've met in person, in the flesh. I think I taught that term. Hey, dear teachers, I'm at work, but I'm able to listen to you. It's great to see you together. I'm waiting for Bob and Jen in Rio someday. Thanks for your work, guys.
Well, Brazil is, let's see, on my list of travel, it's not near the top. Sorry, I've mentioned this before. Originally, my family's from the Netherlands. I also speak French. So France and the Netherlands are fighting for the number one position of where I would go someday. So once I've gotten that done, Jen and I don't travel a lot. But once I have that done, I will look into visiting other parts of the world. So we will see. From Mode says, oh yeah, that's a great way to put it. Learning a language is such a humbling experience. It is definitely a humbling experience. And then a question from Mode. What does it mean when your eyes glaze over? Can you please act it out? I think I actually did it twice.
No.
During the live stream.
No.
Yes.
Okay. When your eyes glaze over, that just means you are incredibly bored.
I'm acting it out right now.
Daydreaming. So it's like you just get into that mode, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
You get into that mode where you're just like, you have to listen to a lecture for an hour maybe. You might glaze over. When you were driving yesterday, or 2 days ago, 12 hours of driving.
Yeah. You gotta watch that you don't start to get tired. Yeah. But I would say, yeah, your eyes glaze over. Let's say that there's a teacher in the front of the classroom and you're listening, and then eventually you just start looking at the chalkboard or the whiteboard, or you're just kind of looking at the ceiling. That would be your eyes glazing over. Intense disinterest.
Yeah,
for sure.
A blank stare.
From Hafiez.
Time flies. The two of you together was about 1 year ago. Eh? That sounded very Canadian there.
The two of you together was about 1 year ago, eh? It was. Yeah. There, I tried to add it, the more authentic English.
Yeah, it was about 11 months, I guess, because we're in the beginning of July. I left.
Yeah, it was end of July last year.
Yeah. So it's been not quite a year, but yeah, time does fly.
Yeah. Bob, personal question. How is your bed in your apartment compared to your home? But only if you want to make a statement on it. So I brought my own pillows. One of the advantages of traveling by car instead of plane is you can bring more stuff. So I actually brought a fan to make noise at night. It broke, but Brent lent me one. And I brought my own pillows. And the mattress is like a similar hardness to my mattress at home. I don't like a really soft mattress, so I've been sleeping great Having your own pillows, that's key
Huge.
for a good trip.
It really is. All right, so we have Turku. Hi, I'm still at work. Feel honored to hear and see you together. All the best. Well, thank you so much. Don't get in trouble with your boss.
Yeah, don't watch out. From Freddie Wolf, Brent, Bob, how many days will you be together? So my original plan, and might still be my plan, would be to leave later today, but I may stay overnight. So there's a nice little 4th of July party happening. We're at Brent's brother's house right now. I might stay for some of the party and leave at 7 or 8, or I might just crash for the night and leave early tomorrow morning. I haven't totally decided yet. Early this morning, I was actually feeling a little bit homesick. I don't know if you know what that is. And I thought, oh, I wouldn't mind just leaving this afternoon. Now I'm really enjoying myself, so then it's easier to stay. So not sure yet. It's nice having a place to stay right by Brent's house. It's a little easier to oh, by the way, you want to explain what I might just crash for the night?
Yeah, sure. If you just crash, I usually think of like when you're not meaning to stay somewhere.
I'm not going to crash the car.
You still have 12 hours to drive home, so like let's
Yes.
knock on some wood.
Yeah.
But if you are, let's say you're at a party kind of late, and the host is starting to wrap up the party, another way to say end it. Maybe you're just too tired to drive. You could say, hey, do you mind if I crash here?
Yeah.
You'd be like, can I sleep on the couch somewhere? Yeah. So usually sleeping when you didn't intend to sleep there.
Yeah. You might crash on someone's couch. You might crash. I might just crash for the night. Like when Jen and I visit our in-laws, sometimes we get there late and they're like, do you want to have a cup of tea? And you might say, no, I'm just going to crash for the night. Thanks.
Speaking of crash and speaking of parties, you can also crash a party.
Yeah.
And that means you go to a party that you weren't invited to.
Yeah. I'm invited to the party today.
More than welcome.
But if I wasn't, I could just walk over and crash the party.
You could crash a wedding.
I could. But I don't want to.
No?
Mode says, awesome. One teacher answers the question while the other acts it out. You make a great team.
Oh.
Then here's a nice one. Is he your brother? And then I'll give you this one. We're going to
Okay.
wrap this up in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Any fireworks for the 4th of July celebration? Yeah, so our town does have a fireworks display. It's over the river. It might be 3 miles from our house. So the ones that go really high, we will be able to watch them from this deck we are sitting on. But I don't think we're going to venture into downtown for the fireworks show. It gets kind of crowded. Don't tell anybody. But my brother has some fireworks.
well, there
that he
might. Who knows?
Maybe.
There could be. I heard. There could be. So.
And if the cops are called, it would not be the first time.
Okay, we know what is homesick from the lesson you've done about travels. Yeah, I think Brent and I have both at some point covered the concept of homesick. You're not actually sick. You just have this incredible desire to be back at your house or apartment with your family or whatever. So, hey, I'm going to go solo and keep
Okay.
answering questions.
Get this
We're
set
going to
up
do
here.
this for about 3 more minutes, and then Brent, right now, he's getting his hat on, and he's going to get set up.
This is my serious hat right
I'll
here.
probably scroll back and try to answer a few questions. I'll put the microphone right here. It might be too loud now while Brent gets set up. From my journey learning English, are you twins? No, we're just two. Can I say middle-aged? I'm middle-aged.
I'm
I'm
sure.
older than
Yeah,
Brent.
a little bit.
But yeah. Are we twins? No, we're just, this is what people like us look like, I think, at this age.
Although my sister-in-law, from a distance, did get us confused.
Yes, yeah. Early in the morning, I was walking by Brent's house.
I don't think she had her glasses on.
No. No, that's talking to Mode. Just says, may I ask you, what did you do to improve your writing and speaking? I like seeing when you guys talk to each other in the chat and try to get advice and information from each other. That's very, very cool. So very nice. You are both alike, says Shock Shocks. Okay, I'm going to scroll back here and see if I can find a few questions to answer from earlier. Again, I'm probably apologizing too much, but sorry that I can't answer everything. It's just not humanly possible. It's a great English phrase, by the way. When something's very difficult, we sometimes say it's not humanly possible. Let's see. Oh wait, I think you answered this one. It's about jet lag. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Redfish says, I can tell you something, to never type in all caps. So I think in most parts of the world, typing in all caps is considered yelling at someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I can talk in a normal voice, or I can yell. It's not really yelling. My yelling voice is a lot louder than that. So when you type in all caps, it's the same as yelling. Let's see. Okay, how's it going over there? Pretty good?
Going pretty well, yeah.
Firing it up?
Should be ready in about 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to post the link again to Brent's. So Brent, I'm typing here, is going live in about 5 minutes or less right here. I hope it's the right link. Yeah, that's the right link, right? I should just double check that for a sec. There you are. There's a thumbnail with us on it, so that's probably the right one. I'm gonna put my glasses on for a sec so I can see a bit better. So we have a thank you from Clive. Hey Clive, I recognize that name. Hi Bob and Brent, nice to see you both in a live stream and teaching English. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Audie the Thai is here. Hi Audie, good to see you.
Audie, what's going on?
Good evening from Thailand. Wow, today buy one, get one free. So there are a lot of ways to buy things on sale. One thing that can happen is you buy one thing and then the store gives you a second one. So Audie is mentioning how you get not one live stream, but 2 live streams today. So from Tic Tac, Bob, Brent, what up? My question is, what other channels you recommend that help you to learn? I'm thinking you're talking about learning English. I would highly recommend you watch channels for the type of English you want to learn. So if you're learning Australian English, listen to Aussie Pete or Emma. If you're learning British English, Lucy or one of the other British speakers. If you're learning American English, Brent here, or American English with Vanessa. There's a lot of, first seek out. There's nothing wrong with watching my lesson if you're learning British English, but it's probably a good idea to focus more on the actual accent you're trying to learn. From Mode Eggs, if you become a better speaker, you'll automatically get better at writing. I was referring to that kind of writing that requires special training, like formal writing. I agree with that. The better you are as a speaker, the better you will be as a writer. And it works, the inverse works as well. The better you get at writing, it can help your speaking, for sure. So from MM, I understand well English. So I would correct that a bit. I understand English really well, but I have to practice more writing and speaking. Yes, that is sometimes what you need to do. Oh wow, it's like there's 2 laptops here and they're like the same. So, okay, cool.
That looks good, right?
Let me know when you're live. I'm going to post your link one more time. Oh, this is my microphone. Very cool. Okay. Where do I post that? So right
I'll go live. There might be a little crossover between us.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll stay live for a minute or 2 while you're going live. Brent is going live now right here. And then we'll hopefully see everyone go there, and we'll just keep answering questions, as many as we possibly can.
All right, it looks like we are live on both my channel and Bob the Canadian's channel. He is just wrapping up his live stream. If you weren't over at his channel, what we are going to do for the next hour is take